All right, my Renown fam, welcome back to the Renown Leadership Podcast. As always, thank you so much for being here. And today I got another amazing guest for y'all. I got Kate Glendon lined up. She is a certified mindset coach and a certified confidence coach with a master's degree in health. And she is about to bring some amazing value to you. You're going to get to listen to her coach me live during, like, without any warning. It was pretty awesome. It was amazing. I had so much fun talking to her. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Kate Glendon, here we go. All right, my Renown fam, welcome back to the Renown Leadership Podcast. As always, I am so freaking excited for y'all to be here. And as always, I have an amazing, amazing guest. And today we are going to talk about two of my most absolutely favorite things, which are mindset and setting goals. And today's guest is, I can't remember, Kate. Do you have a master's degree, or you have a PhD?
I'm actually pretty smart. I do have a master's degree in public health.
Okay. I couldn't remember if it was a master's or PhD. I knew it was one of the two, though. So anyway, my guest today is Kate Glendon. She has, as she said, she has a master's degree in health, and I am super excited. So go ahead, real quick, introduce yourself better than I just did, Kate, and tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Great. So I'm Kate Glendon. I do have my master's in public health. I've been in the field for over, I would say almost 20 years now, helping improving the quality of people's lives through behavior change and environmental strategies. I'm also a mindset and life coach. I have certifications in that I got over a year and a half ago. And through that process, I started my own business. I am a confident coach. So I help others overcome their limiting beliefs so that they can develop the skills that they need to have the most radiant life that they choose to have by achieving those goals, having professional success, and having that personal kind of life that they always dreamed of. So goals and mindset is a lot of what we do, because so often what we tell ourselves is what we believe, but it's not facts.
Right, and that's so hard too, because our mind it's a super powerful tool, but it can also kick our butts as well. And it's so believable. And I'm sure you've had that experience. Just I think we all have, where we just anticipate something, or we perceive something a certain way, and our perception isn't the actual reality, but we totally believe perception. So what, first of all, I guess I want to start at the beginning. What got you into dealing with confidence?
Confidence, I mean, it all goes hand in hand. So, like our mindset and our goals, right? If we're not feeling confident in ourselves, we're not going to have a good mindset. We're not going to achieve those goals because we don't believe that we can, or we don't know how to, or we're overwhelmed. So we have to have our own confidence and self-worth and kind of ditch the doubt so that we can actually do the things we want to do.
But I mean, that's so hard. You make it sound easy. And
Oh my gosh, it's like it's the
it
hardest thing, right? I just like told
is.
you how to bake a cake, but I've been struggling with it for, almost 40 years now, and gone through my own, rolling hills with it of, how do you, sound confident in a big meeting and speak up, be the third person to speak so that you sound like an expert, or you are the expert in the room competing with, all alphas. And you have to find the confidence and the kind of charisma and sleekness to do it without looking like you're just spitting out words so that you're talking and nothing it makes sense. And so, coming, learning how to handle that, helping clients with, being able to go into a meeting, be present, participate confidently, and with advice that is actually good, and having opinions and doing good work, rather than just sitting there afraid to say anything for the fear of what people will think of them.
Right. And man, So you said something that kind of struck. It didn't. I about said struck a nerve. It didn't strike a nerve. It just struck a thought, basically, I guess. And that, so I have a very alpha type personality. Like I was in the military for a long time. Like I'm a pretty aggressive person. Not like in like a, beat someone up aggressive. Just my personality. Like I'm like, yeah, let's go. I have energy. I love to talk. I love to be the person in the spot. All those things. And we people like me, it's so easy for us to not realize that we are totally crushing people around us because their personality, their energy doesn't match ours. And that's not a bad thing that their energy doesn't match ours. They get lost in the sauce because our energy is overpowering theirs. If that, I don't know if I'm saying it the right way.
You are. So, you know, we oh, we are so extroverted and so outspoken and take so much on that other people can't like handle of the all of that energy, right? I guess is what
Right.
to say, right? You can't just put it in a box. So all the sensory of it. So sometimes it's our job or not our job, but sometimes we can funnel that energy to kind of help mentor and bring them out and support them in a way to kind of bring them up a little bit behind the scenes. I call them my behind the scene leaders, right? They'd rather, do all the, do the work and they do it well. They want to be, maybe recognized, but they don't need to also be the one talking at the meeting.
Right. Well, and I think one of the biggest pet peeves I think I have today is that I hear like, "Oh, I'm an introvert. You're an extrovert. I'm an introvert." Yada yada yada. And it's like, look, being extroverted or introverted, like that's how our energy is consumed and displayed, right?
It's
Just
not an
because,
excuse.
exactly. And one of my favorite examples is Simon Sinek, one of the most famous speakers right now, who is a well-known, painfully introverted person, but he still gets in front of thousands of people and speaks and goes to coach in high level situations. But again, when he describes himself as painfully introverted. So I mean,
Right.
it's doable. And I think for me, the way I advise people, and I would like to hear your opinion on this, is uh, first of all, learn to communicate with that extroverted person. And that is, hey, look, like this is how I am, this is how you are, and this is what your energy is doing to mine, so that we can work out a system or a plan, develop a mission to where I'm not limiting your capabilities, because just because your energy doesn't match mine doesn't mean that your superpower can't elevate the business, elevate what we're doing, or whatever the case may be. Like that superpower definitely needs to be utilized, and I don't want to be the person to hinder it. So let's find a way to communicate that. What do you think of that?
I think that is really good use of communication and leadership skills because when you don't have that conversation, that other person tends to have anxiety because they don't know how to handle it. It makes their work setting uncomfortable, and it shows that you're recognizing your traits and you understand that they're different. They're not supposed to match, but you want to make sure that you can, cohesively work together and create something good for and add value to the better of the business or the organization or whatever that your two are working on. And so to find that ebb and flow, that conversation is crucial.
Right. Absolutely. I love that. Thank you. And so when it comes to limiting beliefs and confidence and all that stuff, I don't think, do you think that, energy types like extroverted versus introverted, do you think introverted people have are more prone to have limiting beliefs, or is it pretty even across the board? I think it would be even across the board, wouldn't
Yeah, I don't think like being introverted, extroverted. I mean, I'm no expert, I don't have a degree in this, but I don't think that in psychology was what I'm saying is to say that I think everyone at one point in their life has a limiting belief or have told them they can't do something. I mean, there's many people that just were born that they don't have that. They don't have these paradigms of being told things from when they were little. But most people have a limiting belief or a noisy roommate in their head that tells them something or has an experience that has altered their way of viewing the world, right? When we were little, we weren't afraid of doing, I mean, I wasn't. Now I will never do it, like a roller coaster or heights or like swing really high. And now you're like, oh my gosh, so many things could go wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Like you'd go on a trip, right? Say you were in college, you go on a trip, maybe you brought clothes with you. Now you go on overnight, you have like 5 bags of first aid kit. Like, you know what I mean? Like you get older, you know too much. And so, that's where these beliefs come in. You're more carefree and stuff. And so these experiences are kind of shape us. So
I
I
like
don't think it matters if you're inward or outward. I just think, it just happens.
I like that though, because one of my biggest complaints about being an adult from compared to when I was a kid isn't the fact of all the responsibility of being an adult. That doesn't even bother me. What I hate is the adults, especially if they're older than me, they look at me and they're like, "You are such a child." And it's like I love my child. Like I call it my childlike wonder. I love that aspect about me because I can just go have fun at the drop of the hat. Let's go do this, and let's go have fun. I think that is such a good point because children, you're absolutely right. They're a little more carefree. Man, I think the world would be a much better place if everyone could put down their adult hat for a minute and just go be a little carefree, go run in the woods. Go ride a roller coaster, man. It's a great time. And I'm definitely scared of heights.
I have, don't, and I have parasailed before.
Oh,
So
that's cool. I've never done that.
yeah. So I will try some things. But yeah, I think, laughing's really good for your mindset and soul. And when you're really in a high functioning position or you're really stressed out, like you need that because it reshapes how you see things. And, you know, you can choose to, have fun and still be an adult and still have massive responsibilities. I mean, I think like when people say, "Oh, you're still such a child," I think like, well, yeah, I'm gonna have fun. Like that doesn't mean
Right.
anything. It's like don't shame me. I think that's a social kind of thing. Like, so that's something on them that why aren't you letting yourself like do this? Like, what are
I,
you telling yourself though that you can't, do?
absolutely. I love that. That is such a good point. So and what is your number one go to? Like if you read David Goggins' book, You Can't Hurt Me, he has a method of where he puts sticky notes of his limiting beliefs on his mirror. Um, what's your go-to method of helping people overcome their limiting beliefs?
Um, that's a great question. So sticky notes are good. To some people, like will put them like write on a posted card no or put it like positive ones on their bathroom mirror. My go-to for if you have a negative belief, write it down and then reframe it. So how can you change that negative thinking that where you think, oh, I'm not good enough or I'm not smart enough with something, some sort of achievement that disproves that belief or time in your life that actually dispels that, and so that you have proof that that that's not really true. This is just your feeling. And so why are you feeling this way? So what do we need to remind ourselves that we're actually good at so that we can start to kind of disintegrate this limiting belief that we're told, or what has happened today to bring up this trigger? Because at one time in our life, someone has told you that limiting belief. And so let's go back and revisit that.
I love that. So can I put you on the spot, Kate?
I think I already am.
Can I put you even more on the spot? Um,
Sure.
all right, good. Coach me then. My
Okay.
limiting belief is I hate the sound of my voice. I hate it. And it blows my mind that there are people out there that literally want to listen to me. Like, is like, why? I sound like freaking Kermit the Frog, and I'm not like a sick Kermit the Frog. Like, I don't even, it's not even a good Kermit the Frog. Like, I hate the sound of my voice. And that is something that really has held me back, from podcasting. I think it hurts me in a lot of ways.
Okay. How could you reframe that, make that positive? How long have you had this
Uh,
podcast?
I, it was a year in September.
Okay. And what made you do that, knowing that you sound like you may sound like a frog? Your words.
The frog.
Do you want me to do so? did-
I'm sorry. That was you
I feel
sound like
like
a
a
frog.
meme
That
of the
was really
frog
funny.
should come across the screen.
Oh, that was funny. Okay. So, what was your question?
My question was, what, inspires you to
Got it,
start
got it,
this
got it.
podcast? Because I'm sure this feeling of not liking your voice happened prior to you having this podcast, or was it through this experience that you realized that you didn't like your voice?
No, I was a kid. When my voice started to change, really, is when I heard it, and and it's funny, like talking, like I can hear myself talk because I have one ear off my headphone and then the other head or my headphone on one of my ears, basically, and so I hear myself normally, and then I hear myself being recorded. And so, and this year I don't sound like Kermit the Frog. I have a decent, fairly deep voice. And in this year, it's like really high pitched, annoying, and it's yeah. Anyway, um, what got me inspired to start my podcast was I hired a business coach when I started my coaching company, and they're like, "Dude, you got great stories. You can carry on good conversations. You should start a podcast. It's a great way to get your name out and prove your or position yourself as an expert. So you should totally start a podcast." I'm like, I'm not going to do that for two reasons. One, I absolutely hate listening to the podcasts. I don't listen to them ever. And two, I sound like freaking Kermit the Frog. No one's going to want to listen to me, so I'm not going to do it. And so they pushed me, and finally they got me to do it. And when I started doing it, I absolutely fell in love with making podcasts. I still don't listen to them, but I listen to mine because I have to edit it. But um, yeah, that's ultimately what pushed me to start doing it.
So that's a really great story. And so when I first got on this before we started recording, Stephen, you told me how many ways that you have, links that you have your podcast on, right? So you have like, I don't know, 10, you're on YouTube, you're on Apple, Spotify, and so many.
Hmm.
So you have a lot of followers, correct? Or people that listen, engage with you.
I'm averaging about a little over 2,000 downloads a month right now.
Okay. So would you say that um, people that would download someone that maybe their voice wasn't appealing to?
Of course not.
So can you turn that around with it's pretty normal. Most people don't like their recorded voice. Actually, it's a pretty common thing in America, but so many of these people do.
I mean, yeah, and that's ultimately what I tell myself. I have to tune it. I have to tune that thought out. But man, I just wish I could find a way to not have that thought, because when it does creep into my head, it is very painful, and
It
it
is, right?
is.
So when that happens, I want you to write down three things about your voice that you like.
There aren't any.
You
Um,
got to find some. Your voice can get really loud, right? I heard you
the
start the show,
that is true. I am a loud
right?
person.
And
Fair
then you
enough.
could do the other two. Because I'm
Okay.
sure the reason you don't like your voice was because someone said something about your voice when growing up. Do
I don't
you?
remember.
You don't remember? Or
Mm.
that you feel like your voice should sound like someone something else.
No, no. I I honestly don't remember what started the whole thing. Um, like I said, it was about the time my voice changed from
Yeah.
my boy voice to my man voice. But
And that could just be it. And that's something, and there's always things to do. Like could if you wanted to, there's vocal lessons. There's all of that jazz. There's, filters. But I mean, that you could put on so you don't hear it when you're editing it. So there's ways to kind of overcome
mhm,
to kind of compensate for that. But, to kind of embrace this authenticity that you have this and that, this mindset that and to kind of get over this negative thought is how does Stephen want to show up and feel about his voice moving forward? What would the best version of him want to think about his voice and start thinking about that every day? And
okay.
acting as that person with the best voice in the world.
Right? Because I mean, you got people like oh, what's his name? Bruce, not Bruce. Yeah, Bruce. I can't remember the guy that does the UFC uh announcing at the beginning of the fight, like it's ta, and he has that amazing voice. Or those voiceover guys, man, so jealous. They got great voices. But yeah, you're totally right. And I'm to the point now to where, it's funny, Kate, because when I started this, I would edit the crap out of my podcast. Like I would spend hours and hours and hours editing. And then I realized no one cares.
No one
I'm
cares.
literally the only
We
person that
only
cares.
do.
Right.
We
And
only
I
do. No one cares. No one
right.
cares.
And so when
You
I
think
realized,
anyone cares that you get like 30 sugars in your coffee when you order it? No, no, no one cares.
yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the biggest thing that we have to realize is that no one cares. And if they do care, then they're not worth your time to begin with. Right.
No,
Because
and they're
they're
actually judging themselves. Like it's something about them that they're judging on you.
right. They're just going to, their energy is going to drag your energy down, and that they're not worth the time of day to even respond to most of the time. So I mean, thank you for that, Kate. I appreciate it.
Sure, you could
Um,
pay me after the show.
right.
Just
So
kidding. Kind of.
I know, of course. So I want to move on to something that I'm hearing not as much as I was before COVID, but it's still very much a prominent thing that I hear a lot of people dealing with, and that is burnout.
Mm.
Can you talk to us a little bit about first of all what your definition of burnout is, and then what can we do to prevent it? Because burnout is a super destructive. It's destructive emotionally, physically, relationally, relation, relation. Is that a
Relationship,
word?
yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But anyway, can you talk to us a little bit about burnout?
Sure. So as someone that's been through burnout themselves and has come out on the other side, I would love to talk to you about that because I understand how you just kind of fall apart when you come home because you're so tired from working out that you can't even, brush your own teeth or wash your hair because you're just you're just so tired. You're exhausted from your to-do list. You can't even think about folding that laundry, let alone like, oh my gosh, like you actually have to also go grocery shopping and do all that family stuff with a smile. So, burnout is something is, we come from the culture where everyone wants more. We're all high performers and achievers now, and we want to kind of be the best, and people expect more. And working from home, when that during COVID and the pandemic became a thing, there was no turn off button. which also created no boundaries. So people expected you to be always available 24/7. And I was working in a job that was a 24/7 response to COVID. So I had to respond. So, if you're not responding, you're not doing your job. And a lot of people who work in, you know, um, the corporate world or executives or have positions there, emails on your phone or texting. There's no reason why, people think that you can't respond to them. And we also live in a world of instant gratification. And so we feel that, we have to be always checking. We always have to be, also scrolling on social media to see what everyone's doing and making sure that we're keeping up too. So it creates this endless cycle of we're never resting, we're never refocusing, we're never doing any self care. And we're just kind of always there because we're saying yes to everything and no to ourselves. And end up sleep deprived. You're picking a relationship over another, which could be work over your spouse or work over your kids or vice versa. Your pride are like your kids are your work in your life. You're right there.
Yeah. I'm good. I'm sorry. Keep talking.
and and so you kind of have to take that roll out back. And so that, you have to kind of find a way to how do you say no to things so that you could start to feel better. And so that's what I did was I wasn't answering or I actually deleted the Outlook from my phone. I, deleted people's numbers from my phone and only use them on the work. I did. And don't worry, because they still texted. I knew who they were. Things like that I did to kind of reclaim what I needed to do. I started a morning routine. So I'm a person that has to wake up with coffee. So I did that with meditation and walking. And so that's how I kind of did, because if you don't kind of take back your life, you're going to stay in this constant need and constant looking for perfection and external validation outwards because you're working all the time.
All right, everybody, I just want to interrupt the podcast really quick and take a minute to tell you all about the brand new Renowned Coaching System. This is a system I've personally designed and put a lot of thought and effort and love into. It's an amazing system. Let me tell you real quick why it's an amazing system, because you get real time analytics. You get to see exactly where you were when you started, where you currently are, and how close you are to achieving that ultimate goal that you set at the very beginning. You get analytics for everything. More importantly, the accountability with this system is the best you'll find anyplace else in the world. I get to see everything that's going on and make sure that you are staying accountable to the goals you set. It's truly powerful. You guys just got to see it for yourself. Go to renownedleadership.com, go to the top right hand corner, click book a call. You'll get to come talk to me personally, and I will personally give you a tour of this system. It is truly amazing. It's one of a kind, and it's truly powerful. I'm so excited. I can't wait to show y'all. That's all I got to say about it. So let's get back to the podcast. Right. Absolutely. And I think it's funny too, because I hear it, especially in like entrepreneur circles, I hear it a lot of, where we're like, people are just like, I'm doing all this work. I never have time to do anything that I want to do or be with my family or anything like that. And but I don't feel like I'm going anyplace. I feel like it's just a car that's sitting there spinning its tires, but literally going nowhere. And I feel like it's because, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I am not an expert on burnout, but I feel like it's because we've burnt the candle at both ends for so long. We've burned ourselves out. And now we can't even, like, yes, we're busy on things that get us absolutely nowhere. Like, we're extremely busy, but it's on pointless things,
We,
like, I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah, we are. We're spinning our wheels on things. We're staying stuck because first of all, we're not giving ourselves a time to rest our brain to rejuvenate, and we're not getting anything done. We're just sitting there. We're not productive. So is it better to sit and do unproductive work or take a break?
Right, absolutely. And so what I've found is an early morning routine where
You're,
I just want to do it.
I said, oh, early morning. How early?
4.
Gotcha.
But that's run time, that's meditation time, that's reading time, just straight up me time. Well, me and the dog. But that's me time. And most of the world isn't up then. So I don't have my phone going off. Literally, when you ask me if I'm okay, is because my phone went off and I was seeing who it was. So I mean, my phone literally goes off. It's insane how much my phone goes off. But and that's another thing I had to do is um which I just literally just broke that rule is I had to create a rule of I don't look at my phone except for during certain times. Like if I'm working, if I'm doing something specific, I don't get to look at my phone. And the only reason I looked is because you were talking and no one else could see me. So I was looking at my phone until you said that and called me out.
I
Then everyone
called
saw me.
you.
Everyone saw me
We're
looking
talking
at
about
something.
burnout, and you should have showed me a prime example. The universe gave me a cue, right? It's like just about being present in that moment. And we're all
Right.
such, victims to it at certain times.
Yeah, it is hard. And like you said, we live in a world where everyone literally expects us to go to the next level. And we don't have that, you know, we don't have anyone sitting in our corner going, dude, just go sit. Just go sit by the lake, for an hour and do nothing. Right? How uncomfortable is that? I
So, yeah,
struggle.
it's like going to the doctor's office and they don't talk to you and you're just like looking around at all their objects. I think I did that the other day. I'm like, let's talk about the weather or something. Like,
Right. It's so hard to just sit and be present. And I think we've gotten to the point, at least for me, it's really uncomfortable to do that. So, I mean, burnout when it comes to um, the signs and symptoms for our listeners that, they're like, huh, maybe I'm experiencing burnout. What should they look for?
it's just like kind of like everything feels dull, just kind of a loss of interest, and especially if you start, if your self-care routine, like showering or anything like that, starts to kind of go away. Because usually what happens is when we're burnt out, the first thing that happens is that we stop kind of taking care of ourselves because we need to just get like the basic things done, like food, and sometimes that's it. Like, besides our routines or taking care of our animals and everything like that, we stop taking care of all the other basic needs. So something to kind of do an audit of, what's going well and what is kind of making you feel like upset or shaming because you're not getting to, and how is your sleep, and how is your, how are you feeling about yourself, and kind of just do a wellness check on what of the areas in your life are lacking, spiritually, financially, emotionally, and kind of see what's going on here. And if you're questioning it, set yourself up for a challenge to, sit and just have 5 minutes of silence, and to have a day where you don't answer emails or you don't go on social media, just to kind of chill.
Yeah. Social media, I absolutely despise social media. Um, to me, it's just such a destructive thing because people get so wrapped up into it. Of nothing good comes from only seeing the best, right? Like, because that's what social media is. We see how did they say it? And I think it was a movie. They're like, on social media, you only see the A side, not the B side. Talking about the old school cassette tapes that had the A side and the B side. The A side is all their number one hits. The B side are their backup songs, their filler songs. And on social media, we never see that B side, the not so great things. And that alone burns me out, man. Like, because it's like, you know, I've not taken a trip to Europe this year. Like, what am I doing wrong? Right. So I mean, yeah, definitely put social media down, put email down 100%. Um, don't answer your phone, which is very hard for me. very hard for me to not answer my phone. What if it's important, man?
Yeah. I'll leave
So
a
I
message.
mean, right, leave a message. So I want to move on. And I apologize because we cannot run over today because I have to literally be at the airport in an hour. So, um, but uh, I want to move on to goals really quick, and I want to talk about the importance of goals, and I also want you to touch on the reason goals fail because in my experience, the reason goals fail is that we aren't specific with our goals. So New Year's comes, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to journal every day or whatever. But what does that goal actually say? Right? There's nothing specific about it. Or we set our goals way too high and unrealistic. Right? So I want to lose 50 pounds this year. Probably not going to happen, and even if it does, it's probably not the healthiest thing to do. So, well, can you talk a little bit about that and what it means for you?
Sure. Setting goals are good. Obviously, setting goals is because, it's taking you through a growing phase. So we always want to be focused on kind of where we're going to extend ourselves to the next level, to the next better version of ourselves, because we're always improving. Just like people improve their products, their systems, so are we, whether we know it or not. And when we're not growing, we feel stuck often. And so this is the time where, they also do it now in September when kids go back to school to reset goals. But often people set goals that mean nothing. They're to-do list goals. Oh, I should be more organized, right? I should um, eat more organic food. That doesn't mean anything. And so it's hard to keep these goals that really are just light and fluffy. And the society says, that you should do them. And, or, you think they're right, or you think it's going to solve all the answers. But it's not, creating these feelings or future memories. So there's, when you don't have like a future memory of this goal being achieved, like, oh, I'm saving money so I can go on this big vacation, and you're picturing this vacation and how you would show up and what you would wear. I mean, there's nothing to kind of stick you to that goal. So, what is your reason why you want it so that you can change the way, you're thinking, your thoughts, your patterns, so that you can accomplish it. So often we need to create milestones, little stepping stones to get us to that goal of it, because those are the things that those are the feel good accomplishments that keep you on course to doing it. So if you want to, do have B so that you can, be happy and confident in your life, who do you have to be now to get what you want in the future? And that's what are really good about goals, but we don't tie the two together most often. And so that's why flossing usually ends by February.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And that is really frustrating to me because like I was telling you before is I have this system for setting my goals that to me it's really unique. I've never heard anyone else talk about it, but it's such a fundamental part of my life. Like I've been doing this for probably 22, 23 years. And how old am I? Yeah, 22 years. So, that I almost have to write in my goal journal now because if I don't, I feel like I'm just kind of wandering through life. And I wonder if like that's how people that don't set goals or have like a standard list of goals that they keep, that I wonder if that's how they feel constantly. And if that's a part of being burnout and part of being depressed and part of having low confidence and all that other stuff is that they don't know where they're going.
If you don't have, if you, most people don't have goals actually,
I know.
and they don't know where they're going. They just settle and they're okay with that. And then there's the extremes, the burnouts that feel, they need to do everything or want to do everything. And they feel stuck because they're not moving forward because their goals aren't tied to feelings or future memories. They're just tied to accomplishments or things that they think they should be doing.
You've said it a couple of times now, future memories, and I've never actually heard that before. What does that mean?
So when I be, something what I do when I'm with my clients is what do they want to create in their future and what does that look like, feel like to them? Because to me, to get to the best version of yourself, to be confident, to get to those goals and successes, you have to change the way you think and feel about yourself now. Because a person who is accomplishing these goals or having, you know, great life that are wanting now, you have to show up now while you don't have it as you do.
Right.
So you want to create this image of what this person you want to be looks like, does, responds, so that you can embody that and make decisions based off of that person. So if you want to show up as someone who is more confident, is a great leader, you have to kind of see what you like in others and show up as a confident, great leader and believe that you already are one. And so that you can envision yourself in that, corner office
Yeah.
and not,
Oh man, that's such a good point. And it's kind of like Bedros Keuilian talks about it, and he's talking about money, but he says if you want to be a millionaire, then you have to act like a millionaire. And that doesn't mean you go drop money because that's actually not what millionaires do. That means you have to think like a millionaire. So I love that point. That is such a good point. If you want to be a great leader, you have to start thinking like a great leader now, because it's not going to come like you're not just going to wake up one day and like, oh, look, I'm a great leader. Like, huh, huzzah. No, that's not exactly how it works.
Yeah, it's not. So, follow those that you think are, embody them, and, get good information so that you can start forming some new habits so that you could be that best version of yourself.
Yeah, absolutely love it. All right. So again, Kate, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so sorry to cut. I feel like I'm cutting this short because this is a really great conversation and I can keep it going. Um, so if you want to be put on the spot again, let me know and we'll have you back so we can finish this
Of
conversation.
course, feel free.
But so real quick, I want to go ahead and throw out as much of your information as you can to let people know how to get a hold of you and maybe get a sample of what you can provide, what your services can provide for them, or just how they can get a hold and talk to you and see about your services.
Sure, great. So if you go onto my website, glendoncoaching.com, and sign up for my email list, you'll get all the free offers that come along with it, a free download to overcoming negative self-talk, as well as there is a free 15-minute intro call that you get right with me. There's all different types of calls to book sessions with me. Goal setting is one of them. And then please follow me on Instagram at kglendon_coaching or on Facebook, it's Kat Glendon Coaching. So look for me there.
Fantastic. And as always, everybody, her links and all her socials are going to be down below in the bio description. Whatever platform you're on, they're down below. Scroll down, you'll find them. And make sure you click on them and head over. Definitely get on her email list because I'm sure she's going to provide you with a massive amount of value, absolutely free. So make sure you subscribe to that list. And once you're done doing that, head over to renownedleadership.com and give me all the love too, because I need it. Yeah. So Kate, but all my guests before they leave, and I know you've been on the spot since you started, but I put you on the spot one last time. And I want to know your best advice for our audience on how they can lead their lives like champions.
Like champions, believe you already are one. Anything is possible.
That was like the easiest answer or question answer you've had the
Gonna
entire
wrap it
time.
up. You are one. You are one.
Yeah, just believe it. Yeah,
Just believe
100%.
it. You woke
Absolutely
up
love it.
today. That's more than most people. What do you want to be a champion of? Go do it.
Absolutely.
The world is
Love
your
it.
oyster.
Great advice. Kate, thank you so much for joining us. That's going to wrap it up this week, guys. Thank you for listening. Love you guys. She is Kate Glendon. I am your amazing host, Stephen Morris. Thank you so much again. I will see y'all next week. And in the meantime, never forget, lead like a champion. Goodbye, everybody.
How I try to sleep, but you're deep in my mind. Got a hold of me. When I'm awake, I'm all blind.
Okay, everybody, that's going to wrap it up for this week's episode of the Renowned Leadership Podcast. I hope you really enjoyed listening to Kate and myself and listening to me getting to put her on the spot a little bit and her calling me out of all things. So, I hope you guys had a lot of fun and really got us some good, deep value out of it. Make sure you head over to Kate's website, check her out, give her love on all her socials. I'll have links in the description and the bio and show notes and all that stuff. So make sure you scroll down, give her tons and tons of love. And then make sure you hop over to Renowned Leadership and book a free consultation with me. Yours truly, absolutely free, renownedleadership.com. Check out Kate. It's glendoncoaching.com. That's GLENDON, glendoncoaching.com. That's going to wrap it up this week for the Renowned Leadership Podcast, everybody. I will see you all next week. And in the meantime, you know the deal. Never forget, lead like a champion. Goodbye, everybody.